Coming up on this episode of the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up, we'll be looking ahead to this weekend's Remembrance Day fixture against Millwall, and the very special guest in the studio is the manager, Ryan Lowe. All that and so much more on the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up. Hello and a warm welcome to this episode of the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up. The last one before the World Cup break, boo-hoo. But good news, the gaffer is here with us in the studio. You've no idea how much we had to drag him in to do it. He loves it really, don't you? Things look feeling good at the moment?
Oh, good, mate, yeah. Happy camp, always is when you're winning games of football. One more to go before the break, as you said, and want to finish on a high. What has this all done to everything? I mean, I know you were never sackcloth and ashes when things weren't necessarily going brilliantly, but similarly, you'll not be... Yeah. I think the performances warranted probably more results, if I'm being honest. I think we played some fantastic stuff, had some great chances, but not found the points and the goals to go with it, especially early on. But to find the points and the goals and the performances all together is credit to the group, to be fair. We put the game plan together for them, me and the coaches, and they go and bring it to fruition, and that's what they've been doing of late, and we want that to continue, because we've said to the group every time they follow the game plan, not that they don't follow the game plan, but there's every chance, and times we've won games of football. Sometimes the opposition will try and nullify that, of course, but when we've stuck to it and believed in it, then we've got good performances and good results.
Well, let's have a look then at brilliant goals, game plans and points with that win at Reading.
Hughes to Brady. Brady in advance of him is Alan Brown. Brown able to link, get it back to Brady. Vicious cross to the back post. Attacked by Brad Potts, but he couldn't apply the finishing touch. North End coming down the left-hand side. Brady skips past Hoylett into the box, shoots to the near post, and he nearly caught out Lumley there as it's parried away. The half-time whistle sounds. Johnson levers it forward. Emil Rees is giving chase. The Reading back line letting it bounce. Emil Rees almost sneaking in. And McIntyre with some very loose defending. It's sent in towards the near post. It's dealt with though by Reading. 2 attempts to get it out of the penalty area, then brought down by Johnson. Back to Brady. Right. Brady cross into the near post, and it's goalwards! And there it is, Ched Evans with the opener for Preston North End. He breaks his goal drought and sets up the away end. North End absolutely elated at the start of the second half. Now Holmes up to the Reading right with Ince. Ince pulls Hughes into the wide area, then uses the overlapping run of Yidam. Yidam able to keep it in. He goes down in the box, and it's a penalty for Reading. Well, it looked as though Yidam had overran it and it was going to go out for a goal kick. Robbie Brady got the wrong side of him. Woodman lively on his goal line. Zhao steps up and smashes it into the bottom corner. Potts now with a clever ball finds Woodburn. There's 2 forward here for Preston North End. Brown also trying to get forward and support the attack. Woodburn steadies it and waits for the cavalry to arrive. Eventually pirouettes on it and sends it out to the right. Evans is forward. Evans into the box. Gets shot away! And Ched Evans, well, he waits for 1 and 2 come across on one night. Ched Evans, his second of the night. And Preston North End retake the lead. He's waited an age to break his goal drought. And in one night has 2. It's Reading 1, Preston North End 2.
Right, so that was good. As far as the season, we're at the halfway mark now, obviously on the World Cup break shortly. Highs, lows, how have you kept everything sort of somewhere in between? I know we touched on it before, but...
Well, you have to keep level-headed, don't you? I think when we've won games of football, we've just gone on to the next one, and when we've lost games of football, there's disappointments, obviously, but you've got to be grounded and you've got to be right and go again, because if you let it manifest and it goes on, and you know, especially through the training ground, and lads are you know, coming in with their heads down. We don't want that. We want a happy camp, as you well know, and win, lose or draw. We win, lose or draw together, and it's been the same when we're winning. Look, we know we're going to have bumps in the road, and you know, throughout the course of the season, which we've already had. But I think the performances so far so good have been excellent. I think there's, you know, a couple of performances that weren't really good, which was whether that was fatigue. The Bristol City one weren't good, Birmingham one at home weren't good.
You don't need to mention another one.
Well, they're stuck in my head, but anyway, yeah. So the one you were talking about with the performance was very good. We just didn't win the game of football. So I think in terms of that, there's games we've lost when we shouldn't have deserved to lost, and there's games we've won when we probably shouldn't have deserved to win. But the overall feeling for me and the staff and the players is that we continue to keep doing what we're doing and keep building, keep working, then the points will come, which you've seen now. So to 21 games after Saturday, to get the points that we're on now, and if we can collect more points, will be a very good start.
So in terms of all that then, because you know there's external noise, there's chatter, even sometimes at matches when fans get frustrated, which I know you can understand at times as well. So how do you need to shut out that? Do you hear that noise? Do the lads hear that noise?
The lads might, but I'm one of them. I'm not on any social media platform, so I don't really know. I get the frustration in the crowd that sometimes, especially at home, we've not got as many points and many goals as we'd have liked, especially early on, but that's obviously changed a little bit. I do get the frustration. I'm a fan myself, so I do get it, but what I can't do is can't listen to the outside noise because it'll drive you insane. And we get it, that's, you know, but what I always want is I take the flak, I'm the manager, I pick the team, we put the game plans together, me and the coaches, for the players to take it to fruition, which we spoke about. But what I don't like is when they get criticised individuals because they're not doing anything that, you know, that should upset anyone. We're all trying, we're trying to bring the good times back to Preston North End, as we've said. But it happens, it's football, I think it's only a minority. But you have to close it up. It's like, you know, you can't let it fester around. And you know, I don't speak to the lads on it. A lot of the lads are on social media, they choose to be on that. But I think sometimes all we can do as coaching staff and as the manager and the players is block out all the noise and keep performing. And when you perform, the likelihood is you'll collect points, and that's what we've been doing.
So on a Sunday morning, when you come down for your full English, I'm guessing you have a nice big brew and stuff, and you're looking through the papers. Does anybody still do that anymore? All right, then you're on teletext and you've gone to page 302.
Definitely not on teletext.
Do you, what
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Do you look at the league table? Have you looked at the league table?
Yeah, of course you do, yeah. But listen, it's
well,
always...
some don't, you say that, but...
They do, they just lie. It's always nicer when you've won on a Sunday morning, you can wake up and you're going out with the family or you're doing stuff, whatever it is, or you're going to a match or whatever. It always feels a lot better when you won. Your weekends are a lot better. I try and not take it on with me because I don't think it's right, you should do that. Yeah, when we lose, we're disappointed. You want to try and get the next game to put it right. And yet, lads will watch football and watch, you know, the goals coming in on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning, whenever it is. And you know, when you win, it's even better. When you lose, not so good. But you can't dwell on it too long. You've just got to keep working hard, and that's what the group have done. The group have been excellent to work with when you've lost a game of football. To go again, and you want in that next game. The rest and recover's been good for the lads the last week or so, but. When you win a games of football, everyone's happy, aren't they? When you lose games of football, you want to make sure you try and put it right the next game, and that's certainly what the group have done. So, yeah, you do look at the league table at times. You know, do you look at it in games when they're thick and fast, like it's a Tuesday, Friday? It's hard because your motivation and your head's on the next game. But ultimately, over a weekend, if you've won, there's always a feel-good factor, isn't it? That's not just me as the manager, but I'm sure that's all the fans, everyone associated with Preston North End, the players, the staff. And there's a real buzz when you win, and we want more of them real buzzes when you win because it makes your weekends.
Well, hopefully it will come again this weekend. Millwall at Deepdale, it's Remembrance weekend. The poppies will be on the shirts. There's guards of honour to lead out the players. There's plenty going on both on and off the pitch. And here at Exton, the gaffer has been catching up with some very special members of the proceedings for this weekend. Alistair White from Preston North End's Community and Education Trust is also here to tell us more.
Yeah, so I've brought up a few of the participants for our PNE Forces programme just to watch sort of training today as a nice little incentive as part of the Remembrance this weekend. It's a great opportunity for some of the lads just coming to watch the training as well, so I'm very much thankful for the opportunity.
We're doing this for a few years now across the weekend, so tell us what Preston have got planned for this weekend and the Millwall match.
Yeah, so this weekend it's our dedicated fixture to Remembrance. So the Community Trust are giving out close to 300 tickets to people linked with the Armed Forces community. So this could be veterans, it could be those that are currently serving, or families of those who have served in the past as well, all to sort of bring together on the match day to remember those who have sacrificed serving our country.
So why do we do that? Because we do it every year now, so what difference have you found that it makes?
It's fantastic sort of program the forces. It's reconnecting individuals who may not have actually seen each other from when they've actually served, so it's a great way to sort of bring people together, bring that sort of social interaction and camaraderie which they will have had in the forces but may not have had since leaving, and running sort of weekly football sessions, all the bits and pieces. It's a great way to sort of bring them together and sort of have just a good laugh and be able to support them as well.
I'm going to talk to them in just a second, but as far as that, the team and the league is concerned, how are they doing?
We're doing okay at the moment. We're about mid-table in the league. We're doing okay. I have had to fill in a few times, but I've not quite met the standard, so I don't think they're too keen on me playing, but the lads have done great so far, and I'm sure when the season carries on we'll do even better.
So as far as this weekend is concerned, for the Millwall game, what can people who go to the game, probably people online, will be able to see and understand what's happening? What have you got planned?
Yeah, so as the players will be walking out on Saturday, they'll be marched out through a guard of honour of current serving soldiers from the regiment just next door to us. There'll also be some of our PNE Forces players and their sort of kids taking penalties at half time, along with a few others from forward barracks of families of current serving members of the forces taking them as well. So it'll be a great day, and sort of, as I say, just bringing families and people all together just to pay our respects and remember those.
Right, so you've just met the manager, watched a bit of the training. How was that?
Yeah, it was great to come down and watch how the professionals train and see what they do. Not quite as good as what I do, but they're good enough.
Is he right there?
Loves to big himself up a bit, like, but yeah.
So go on and tell us about, in terms of who you play for and why you're here then.
So we play for the Preston North End Armed Forces Veterans League, representing the Community Trust. We have our own league with the likes of Man City, Fylde, Blackpool, Wigan, who have actually just recently dropped out of the league due to demand. But yeah, we do it good.
How did you get involved in that?
So for me personally, I had a friend who was an ex-soldier who joined the Community Trust, and he gave me a shout, said that the North End do, for the Community Trust, they do a league and a team for ex-forces. So I came down and it was a good laugh, so I've decided to keep going. I'm 3 years in now.
How are we doing?
We're mid-table at the moment, so we could do a bit better, but we're doing all right. Doing better than we did last season. That's the main thing.
You're laughing there, lads. That's a knowing laugh there.
Yeah, we've had a few good shouts. We've had a few good tournaments. We went to Wigan last Remembrance for the Remembrance Cup, came second out of, I think it was 8 teams, was it?
Yeah, we got beat in the final on golden goal, so we got all the way to the final golden goal. But our highlight so far this season is that we've beat Blackpool away and we've beat Burnley twice, so it doesn't really matter about everyone else.
We're sort of all right with that, I think. Yeah, as well. It's not just about the playing football, though, is it? It's about getting everybody together, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah. It's for especially veterans that are suffering, getting them, because obviously a lot of veterans are on their own, and once you start losing touch with lads that are still serving on all your mates, it's really hard. So like getting back together with veterans and what have you, you get that
camaraderie.
That's the one.
Yeah.
You get all that back and you start having a laugh and start taking mick out of each other, and like you was when you were still in the army or Air Force or even the Navy. So it's absolutely brilliant. It helps with mental health as well. So and it's helped me a lot.
Yeah. Good. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big thing. And also, for me, one of the main things is that through the trust, you meet people that sort of, you might not know certain agencies exist for forces, veterans outside. So when you're coming down doing this and you're meeting people that can sort of help you get into work or get your education courses or whatever that you might not, I didn't know about until I started doing this. So it's good to get them sort of contacts as well as the camaraderie.
How often do you meet?
So we play football obviously every week on a Wednesday, but we have other things outside like today, and we've done a couple of things down at the club as well where people outside, like from the councils and from different charities, get involved, so that are to do with ex-forces veterans and stuff. So that's probably done on a quarter yearly basis, but it's really good because, like I said, you get to meet people and create bonds that you didn't know that even existed if you weren't doing this. So I think that's one of the most important things for me personally.
Good. We'll give everybody the details of how they can get involved in just a minute as well. But just finally, it's Remembrance Sunday this weekend as well. The game against Millwall is the Remembrance match as well. Half time. Are you getting involved?
I'm open to, yeah. I'm coming. We've been asked to come either smart or casual or in our suits, so like regimental ties and what have you, just representing our old regiments, and our club as well. So hopefully I'll be taking a spot kit in my shoes and my blades.
That'd be brilliant. In your shiny shoes and your blades right there. I think some of you are leading the lads out, aren't you?
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, I think some of us and some of the lads from the barracks will be doing that like they did last year, and obviously it's a good do. So it gets military involved with the club, and obviously that's a good thing. And what more can you want? Remembrance and football. That's a good Saturday for me.
And just finally, I know we sort of started on it before, but I know you had a chat with Ryan. How did that go?
Yeah, really good. I think he's a really brilliant manager,
Give you any tips or secrets about how to score more goals?
Well,
or did you give him some?
Yeah, I gave him 28 goals in 9 games.
I knew you were going to say that.
He told me to get my boots on, but I don't want to show the lads up, so I've kept him off today.
Brilliant, great to talk to you. Good luck this weekend, and of course with all the stuff that you're doing with the team as well.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Thanks, gents. As always, of course, the poppies will be on Preston North End's shirts. Keep your eye out on Preston North End's official social channels and website for all the details with that. And if you are coming to the game, bring change with you, because there will be some young Royal Air Force cadets outside collecting. So if you've got some change to spare, that's the place to do it. And as we said, you were talking to the lads outside. Good lads as well, weren't they?
Yeah, it was nice to have them around, obviously, for the weekend, a special occasion. Look forward to seeing them at Deepdale.
So it is Millwall next up. How important, I know you want to win every single game, but because of the gap now of the World Cup coming up, is it more important to make sure that everybody's got that smile on their faces, the league table looks good? Is there a bit more pressure because of that?
Look, pressure's pressure of being a manager, isn't it? And representing, being a manager at Preston North End Football Club is always going to lead to some sort of pressure for what we want to try and achieve. But Saturday's just another game for us. I know it's a game that we won't play for a while, but there's a good team coming to town in Millwall who are well drilled, solid, resolute. They're not coming here and just lying down. They're well equipped at what they do, and I think they're only a few points behind us. But for us to finish the 21 games with a win would be massive. But there's a team standing in our way, so there's no real pressure as there is on this game, as there was the Reading game or the Middlesbrough game. It's just another game of we want to try and win. Yeah, it'll be nice if we can finish the 21 games before the break with a win. Yeah, of course. I think we're probably guaranteed to stay in the top 12, win, lose or draw, which is a big plus for us. Of course we want to win, but where we are and what we've done so far is credit to the group, because they've been outstanding. Yeah, getting that other win and sending everyone home with the World Cup break with a buzz is obviously one of our aims. So we've got to make sure we put on a performance to warrant that.
So we know historically how good momentum can be, if it's good momentum, of course. So given that this World Cup break takes everybody away for a while, what are you planning on doing with that, and how?
Yeah, well, the lads will have a bit of time away, a week away with the families, because I think it's important that the games they've had relentless. I was speaking to one of the lads this morning after training, and it feels like we just played 5 games 5 weeks ago, if you like, and we're on 21 games now. So the schedule's been relentless for the World Cup, so they'll definitely have a bit of time with the families, and then we've got a 3-week build up to Blackburn, which there'll be a couple of odd days in there they'll get off, and we've got a couple of friendlies penciled in, which will be important for us. But they definitely need that little bit of time away, and probably everyone needs a little bit of time away from each other, really, because it's a long season. So I get the momentum, okay, if you win Saturday and people say, oh, you don't want it to stop. Well, sometimes it could be a good thing, because you can take stock, and over the Christmas period you can back them up with more wins, and then find yourself into January, which we can hopefully add a couple of additions to the squad, which will help the group. Then yeah, you find yourself in a good position where you want to be, and as I've said, you kick on for the next 25 games from then on in and see where it takes you.
well, that's where it takes us, we hope, obviously. Right, as you mentioned, the lads and the gaffer, and us all, I suppose, getting a little bit of a break from Preston North End. We don't want it. They possibly need it, as the gaffer said there. But we caught up with Emil Rees earlier on about the Millwall game and what's ahead.
When you have some time off, you always remember the last game. So to when we go on our holidays and look back at the football, you want to be like reminded of a happy game, and hopefully we're going to have that, and we're going to give everything we can to get into the break with a win. We've always talked like up to the break, like how we're going to be in the table and everything, and to work towards the World Cup break. And then obviously in the World Cup break we need to set new targets and work on new things, and really take the second half of the season like we've been finishing off in the end here. It's been a good week, like building up to the game, and you know, it just put a smile on everyone. So hopefully we need to continue like that heading into the World Cup break with four wins in a row would be amazing. So,
well, let's finish with a word from you then. You can sum things up for us in terms of the roller coaster ride. It's a swap for the Cop game. The flags will be out. Don't forget to return the flags, by the way. And if you want to swap to the Cop and you haven't done that, you can do that in all the usual places. Go to the club's official website to find out the details. You can get on the Cop if you've got a ticket. You can pay on the gate if you already haven't. How important have they been?
They've been excellent. A lot of frustration along the way as well, with the same as us, as the coaching staff and the manager and the players, when you're not winning games of football. But I think I've said it many a times that they appreciate everything they do for us, the fans. You know, travelling long nights on a Friday night to Reading when you're live on Sky is not easy, because you could easily sit on the couch and watch it. But I think the support's been fantastic, and long may that continue, because it's important for the group. I've said that, you know, support the players, because all they try and do on a weekly basis is perform for the fans in a football club. And we want that to continue with the support of the fans. Do
you like the flags things, you know, when you come out, do you give it a glance?
Yeah, well, it's always nice, isn't it, when you see plenty of flags and scarves and whatnot around, and people in PNE shirts and jumpers and hoodies and scarves. It's always nice, and, you know, that just shows their true support.
All available in the club shop now, good little advert as well. Thank you as always.
Cheers.
All the very best.
Thank you.
As well. I'll see you before Christmas. I'm going to wish you a happy Christmas then. But of course, there is a little bit of a break now. Tickets are on sale for the game. You can turn up on the day. Don't forget the fan zone before and after the game. You'd love to go in there. You'd absolutely love it.
I'll have to get in one day, won't I?
You're a bit busy.
Is it on afterwards as well?
Yeah, do you want to join us for a drink there afterwards?
I will do one game, yeah.
Okay, when I'm not there, is that what you're about to say? Right, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and you know what we do now, don't you? What do we do? What do we end every Preston North End weekend warm-up with? We'll see you in a few weeks, by the way. You can watch some back episodes if you want. The list will come up in just a second. What do we do?
Up the white.
That'll do.